Now, I did purchase some Chessable courses, and there is something new I have learned, and this applies to the Queen's Gambit, but it also applies mostly to the French defense, because the Queen's Gambit and the French defense are my favorite openings. And the Queen's Gambit is something that I'm trying to learn from the white side and the black side, because you need, if you're, whether you're playing as white or black, learning how to handle the Queen's Gambit and still go on to win the game is an essential thing. So the Queen's Gambit is a big deal with me. I love the Queen's Gambit, the opening, not the Netflix show, which I haven't watched because I hate Netflix and have never signed up for their subscription service. Plus, I've heard really bad things. The only thing I want to watch is the Queen's Gambit series on Netflix, but that's the only thing I'm interested in with Netflix. But anyway, enough about that. The Queen's Gambit opening is something I very much like. I also like the French defense. But instead of just talking about how I like these openings, I'm going to show you a new trick that I learned from Chessable courses. Because I do my courses on Chessable usually on my lunch break at Walmart, of all things, because that's the only time when my mom's not yelling at me yet I have free time is my lunch break at Walmart overnight. It's just dumb. Anyway, so here's what we got going on here is this is my profile here, showing my current ratings. And also the reason that I have this displayed right now is I want to have this video as a record of what my ratings were. So that I can then compare one video to a future video and see have my ratings gone up at all. And notice that my rapid rating is exactly 1500. I like that. In fact, I'm thinking maybe I won't play any more rapid games. Maybe I will just leave it at 1500 forever. Because 1500 is a nice number, and I'm thinking of just leaving it at 1500 and just playing classical and correspondence for the rest of my life. I mean, who cares about rapid? Who cares about blitz? Who cares about bullet? I mean, bullet is full of stupid moves because people are trying to move faster than make mistakes. So classical chess and correspondence chess is what I'm all about, people. So that's what I'm working on. I don't care about my ratings of the other 3 time controls, just so you know. Those will probably stay that way for a while. Anyway, so I'm going to go to the analysis board on Lichess. And it's going to be a lot of fun here because I go to the analysis board and here's something I want to show. So first, right now, we are seeing that it's the orientation here of the white and the black pieces here. So let's first go over the Queen's Gambit. Now, the Queen's Gambit here is where we have d4, d5, and c4. Now, here's what is very, very interesting. The most common thing that I face in the Queen's Gambit is where black declines the Queen's Gambit by moving this here. And the idea behind that is that if this pawn takes, then this pawn takes. So, you know, that's something that commonly happens. And that there's nothing wrong with that either necessarily. But what I tend to do is I tend to this is very common. Okay, so this is something where a lot of people put this knight here, and this is actually a good move because even though the bishop can pin the knight, it's not bad per se because of the simple fact of the matter that it blocks the check to the king. And even if the bishop does take the knight, then, which of course white has to make a move first. So if the bishop takes the knight, then, you know, you take back the bishop. It's not the end of the world. It's not even a problem at all. So that's totally fine. But here's an interesting idea. A lot of times the bishop will pin the knight here, but it won't take the knight immediately. The main reason they're doing this is just to pin the knight so it can't move. But what I like to do here is I like to move this king's pawn forward 1 square, and that's because I like to play the Queen's Gambit the same exact way that I play the French defense, where king's pawn goes 1 square, queen's pawn goes 2 squares. So I like to keep it consistent so that whether I'm playing French defense or I'm playing queen's gambit, it's the same thing. Now here's where it gets interesting, because a lot of times, after black makes their move, I will try to do something. I may try to take this pawn, or I may, or sometimes I do this, and then this happens, and then we have that exchange there. And that's fine. However, here's a new trick I learned. I have a new trick that I learned here. And the idea is moving this knight here. And the weird thing about it is that if you try to attack this bishop with the pawn, the bishop can take this knight, but then it just gets replaced with another knight. Now you may wonder, well, what's the point of this? Well, the point of this, you see, is that now we do have a knight in this spot. We've also eliminated the knight that was here, and that is an important step so that hopefully White's king will be able to castle. So that's actually a pretty good idea. I mean, it's not bad at all. And when these moves of moving the black knights here, that was just for the sake of making moves for example purposes, so I could show you what I do from the white side. But these are common moves. Moving the knights out early in the game is a very common thing that actually happens in a game, so that's why it's a good example. So that's the idea here, because all kinds of things can happen from this point. So this pawn may take that pawn, and then we capture back with the bishop. That may happen. But more likely, the opponent will try to do something else. The opponent will try to castle. And this is where things start to get a little bit weird. Things start to get a little bit weird here, because this is very common. I've seen this. And so one thing that is good is the queen can go here, targeting this square, but it's defended by the knight. That's a very common thing that happens. And then, all kinds of strange things might happen here. So the knight might try to go in here, but then what I like to do here is I like to get this bishop also lined up with this pawn here. So we have both of these pieces on targeting that square. And because most people castle kingside with black in this position, this kind of works. We're trying to get to that king. And this is where it starts getting a little bit weird, because this knight is our problem here. This knight is very much a problem that we face. So let's see here. What, well, black won't do that, because then the queen just kills it. So what would black do in this position? Black might start trying to get either queen out by getting the pawn out of its way. They might try to do that, and we could take that pawn. In fact, that's not a bad move. Honestly, that's actually a pretty good idea if you think about it. Yeah, that's not bad. But the main thing is the queen is trying to get out here, is trying to do something. Now we still have the problem of this knight here. And one of the things that we could do, this is a very weird trick. You could try to move a pawn right here in the hopes that black is dumb enough to take it. Sacrifice the pawn so that then we can take this pawn and put the king in check, which the bishop's protected by the queen. The king moves here, and that way we've already eliminated a pawn. So we really traded one pawn for another. And this is where it starts getting a little bit strange here, because now we can try to go on this weird attack where we try to attack this knight. And then where's the knight going to go? Well, the knight it can go back to where it was, or it can go back here. But I think the knight will go back here, and it's going to try to attack this bishop again. But now all we do is we just move the bishop right back where it was at. And this is just an example, okay? It's just an example, but there's infinite possibilities that can happen when you play the Queen's Gambit. Oh, we have a chatter here. Sorry, I just now saw your comment because I have to go back to the OBS Studio application. Hello, Anya Lazy. Yeah, they said, hello there. How's your day going? Well, my day is going good right now because my mom is out of the apartment, so I just am doing a quick chess stream to demonstrate something I've learned. I've learned something very cool about, the trick of getting the knight over. So you'll be able to watch the whole video later on. So now what I'm going to do is, we're going to go back to the very beginning of the game, and we want to flip the board. We want to flip the board. Let's see. I forgot. How do I flip the board to the other view? Okay, let me just refresh the page here because I forgot how. Let's see here. How do I flip? Okay, there we are. Flip the board. Because now I'm going to go over the French defense just briefly because this new trick I learned with the knight also applies to the French defense. So the French defense begins white moves king's pawn 2 squares, black does it 1 square, and then they get their d pawn out 2 squares, then we do the same there. Now there's the exchange variation of the French. The exchange variation, this pawn takes this pawn takes that. That's the exchange variation. However, what a lot of people like to do is the advanced variation. They get this pawn moved forward here, and the reason they do that is now this bishop can't go here, and this knight can't go here. So here's what some coaches recommend. They recommend trying to do a black queen's gambit here, where we try to get them to take this pawn and we capture back with the bishop, and that's very good if white falls for that, because then they can try to do we're getting that bishop line with the weak square, and if they don't pay attention to what they're doing, then we have check there, and then we have checkmate, so that you can have a quick checkmate in the French defense if they fall for that. But here's what a lot of people will do is instead of taking that, instead they will try to put you in check here with his bishop. Because see what happens when we move this pawn 2 squares, now we don't have something to put in the way except a bishop and a knight. And let me tell you something, people. For a long time, I have agonized over, do I block the check with the bishop or the knight? Or do I move the king? But see, moving the king is stupid because then it blocks this bishop. So here's what I think the best move in this position really is, and that is to just block with the bishop. Because if the white bishop takes it, well, then we can capture back. It's not bad. In fact, we can capture back with the knight. And that's totally a fine thing to do. So I'm fine with that. But here's another thing that might happen. Another thing that might happen is they may do a different move. And let's say that we get a knight here and they try to pin this knight. Well, then we get this knight moved out here. And if black takes that knight, then we just replace it with another one. And you may wonder, why go through the effort of bringing this knight all the way from here to here and then here to here? Why do that? Well, part of it is we want a knight here. And the reason we want a knight here is because it attacks that. It attacks that pawn there. And that's very important because smart people are going to try to defend that pawn. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to get as much pressure on that pawn. I'm following the advice of Levy Rosman, the internet chess teacher, a lot. But I've also seen this in databases that people try to do this thing where we're all fighting to destroy this pawn structure in the center here. White wants to get rid of our pawns, we want to get rid of white's pawns, and that's just how it is. So basically, we have this ridiculous situation here where white is going to try to defend this pawn by any means. And what we have to realize here is that we need to get our king castled here. Although, there's different ways to handle this, but one way is to simply castle the king here. And then let's just say white does some kind of move. So here's what we can do. We can get this right here. See, now this pawn can take this, and then we can capture back with perhaps the bishop and now we have another attacker here. Now, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of things can happen, but that's basically the idea. Now, how this plays out in a real game with an actual person is different than the way it plays out when I'm just making the moves for both sides, obviously. So here's the thing. I love playing classical chess. And so here's what I think I want to do is now when I do a classical chess match, I don't know whether I'm going to be playing black or white. I don't really have a way of knowing that until it begins and assigns me which color I'm playing. So what I'm going to do here is instead of just going over the analysis board, I'm going to show you a real game. I'm just going to play a random classical game against some player. Now, I may win or I may lose, but the important point is that whether you win or lose, never stop playing, never give up. And one of these days, I believe I will reach 2,000 classical rating. That's my goal. I'm not trying to be a grandmaster. I'm just trying to be a very good player, and I'm trying to be a good teacher. I'm trying to get better at teaching. That's what I do. That's what Chastity's Chess Challenge is all about. It's Marie Claire 07 just followed. Yeah, hey, how are you? Well, thank you for the follow, Marie Claire. Yeah, so I was just saying how that's what I try to do is I try to teach chess, and I know there's other people to teach chess, but I'm different. I'm different from Levy Rosman. I'm different from the grandmasters because they have ratings to worry about. They have over the board tournaments involving prize money. It's about money for them. And look, I would like to be rich and be a top chess player of the world too, but because I can't drive a car and I can't travel, it doesn't matter if I was as good as Bobby Fischer, I still can't attend these events because I can't drive anywhere. I can only go where I can walk to in Lee Summit, Missouri. So basically, the internet is my chess playground. That's what it is. And so I am from Lee Summit, Missouri. I'm in Lee Summit, Missouri, and nobody plays chess in this town except me and my chess student, Tam. Gotta love Tam. She loves the game of chess as much as I do. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to just play an actual classical game. You know? Okay, let's see. What's this notification? Okay, that's about something else. So let's go to quick pairing. Let's just do a classical game. I'm just going to jump into a classical chess game, a 30-minute classical game, and let's just see how this goes. We're just going to see how it goes. It's who it's going to match me with. So that's what I love about Lichess. I love that you can just play a game against a random person somewhere in the world. Yeah. Marie Claire says my headphones aren't working right now. Can you chat instead? Well, you know what? I can't play chess and type chat messages at the same time because that's insane. But there will be a recording of this anyway. You know, everything is recorded. So there will be a recording of this that will also be exported to my YouTube besides being on Twitch after I highlight it. So yes, anyway, the game has begun. I'm playing the white pieces, and we have now notice how we have a Queen's Gambit position. This is actually very bizarre. This is strange how this is going. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this just like I said when I did analysis. Okay, now that's very interesting. See what they did there? Now they're doing the Slav defense. So here's what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to move this pawn one more, and we're going to have like a pawn wall here. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to have a weird pawn structure here and see what they do. So let's have all the pawns. I'm getting my pawns in a diagonal row here. Like this is, okay, so now what did they do? Now see, they have, okay, I see how that is. So let me see what happens if I get the queen here. I'm going to try this. I'm just going to get the queen here and see if I can attack that pawn. I hope black doesn't mess me up. They might, but I'm just going to see, can I get to that pawn, put them in check, and fork with their rook. That's what I'm going to try to do here in this game. And see, this is weird because even though black's knight moved to f6, we still ended up in a situation very similar to the Queen's Gambit. Okay, it's time to sacrifice the bishop to kill that pawn. So that then if that pawn kills my bishop, then I can at least put my opponent in check. So this whole thing is turning out to be very weird. So now we've got that. We're putting them in check. This is weird, man. I was not expecting the game to go like this, but you never know what to expect when you play chess. But Marie Claire and Anya Lazy, thank you for joining the chat. It really does mean a lot to me. That people watch this because I aim to teach people, but I also aim to entertain. Okay, so now what we got going on is the queen moved there, so now we're going to move this pawn here and threaten the queen with a pawn. I expected them to use the bishop instead, honestly. That was a little weird, man. I tell you, that was kind of strange, to be honest. So let's see, what do we have going on here? So now we have a case where, honestly, guys, I'm not sure what to do here. Okay, I'm going to get the knight moved out to f3. Maybe I'll castle the king. Okay, so see now what they've done. Now they really messed me up because now they've got that rook there. That rook is there, and I don't like that very much. Let's see. Well, okay, let's try this. Let's just try. Maybe we will trade queens. Maybe that's what we'll do. Is we're just gonna trade the queens off and hope for the best. Yeah, I could win or I could lose. We don't know what's gonna happen in this game. That's why I love chess. It's the game is always the same, and yet each game you play turns out differently. That's what's beautiful about this game. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna type a message. I can't type and play chess at the same time. See, this person, they want me to type in the chat, and it's hard to do that when I'm focusing on a chess game. That's the thing. But at least I am. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So that rook went there. Okay, we're just going to trade queens. That's what we're going to do. Is we're going to trade the queens. That's not a bad thing to do by any means. So now let's do that. Yeah. Just know that I read the comments when I have the chance. Okay, yes, because it's hard to type while also playing chess. But it's much easier. I can talk about the game while I'm playing chess, and that's very easy to execute. Okay, so what do we have here? Now let's defend that pawn there. We're going to defend that pawn right there with this knight and just see how it goes. Now that bishop went there, so now the bishop's there, and I can't castle there. So that's, to be honest, that's a little bit frustrating. That is kind of frustrating there. So I'm going to get this knight moved out here. I'm just going to start getting pieces out here with the hopes that I can do something useful. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what's going to happen, but I think what I'll do here is I will try to use this knight, and I will try to attack this rook with this knight. And we're just going to see what goes on here. Okay, and let's check the chat. Yeah, I just like to check the chat while my opponent is choosing their move. That's what I try to do. But I am already I'm behind time compared to my opponent because I am trying to manage more than one thing. And truth is, I actually play better when I'm not streaming, ironically, because I'm more focused on the game itself. Whereas when I'm streaming, I am trying to explain things to the audience of whoever's listening live or who will listen in the future to the video. So that's basically it, as I'm just trying to make a good play. I'm trying to play some good chess, but I'm also trying to make a good show too. So that's the important thing to understand. Okay, so here we go. We have this situation here. We're going to get this knight right here. Now, I predict this bishop is probably going to take that knight. See, I told you guys that was what was going to happen because that really is a reasonable move to do that. So yeah, but I was prepared for that. I figured they probably would do that, but at least that means that bishop is no longer here attacking this pawn. But I still have this annoying rook that I have to figure out how to deal with. So let's see, what can we do here? Well, we could attempt to okay, let's put this bishop right here and attack that rook. Let's try doing that. Let's just see what happens. So my opponent has a slight piece advantage over me, just slightly, but that doesn't mean that I'm losing this game yet. Not necessarily. You know what I mean? It's a very weird game. It's really just getting started. So now what we got going on is I can put this rook here and we may trade rooks. The rook may take my rook and then I'll take back with the bishop. That may be something that happens. We're just going to see how it goes. Yep, that's what happened. Okay, so at least I got that annoying rook out of it. Okay, now the opponent castled. See, now that changes everything. See, this changes the game entirely because now we have a whole thing going on over here. So let's start by getting this pawn out here. We're going to get this pawn out here. We're going to see how this goes because this game is still winnable. I could lose it, but it's still winnable at this point, I believe. So let's see. This knight might try to go there. No, it won't. It might try to go there. There's bad. There's bad. There is and there are okay, but it doesn't really. That knight really can't accomplish much of anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this knight right here and attack the rook for now. That's what I'm going to do because I don't think that this bishop or this knight or even this knight have anything that they can do to me. I certainly hope not. I hope I'm not missing something, you know? But yeah, I'm having fun. I don't know about anybody watching, but I am having fun. Okay. Let's see. That rook decided to go there. Okay. Very interesting. Well, let's try getting, we're going to, well, do we want to do that? Not necessarily. Okay. So here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to first get this rook moved right here. And I have a reason for that. But it may or may not happen the way I expect it to. We'll see how it goes. So now that bishop went there. So that bishop is determined to destroy that pawn. But I have a different plan in mind. I'm trying to attack this knight here. I want to eliminate this knight. That's what I'm aiming for. Okay, so now the knight retreated. Okay, very interesting. All right, so there we go. So now, well, I'm not sure. How do I want to go about this? Because this is a very weird game. It's an extremely weird game. So I'm gonna move the rook right here. I can do that because now the knight has moved. So let's see what happens. You know, the bishop will probably take my pawn. Yes, that's what they did. And now I'm just going to put the king in check here, and they can't take with the pawn because it would put them in check with the rook. So they're kind of in this like weird jam. It's a very weird jam they're in. So where are they going to go? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Where is that king going to go? Okay, so the king went to the corner. The king went to the corner. Now I'm going to get this bishop lined up here. That's what I'm going to try to do here. I know this looks weird. I know this looks very weird, but trust me, guys, if that pawn takes my knight, it's checkmate. That's the thing. But they may not do that. Let's see what they do. Oh, guys, what will they do? The suspense is killing me here, man. Like, dude. Oh, man. I love it. I love the game of chess. I also play shogi and shangxi, you know, Japanese chess and Chinese chess. I'm just not very good at them because I mostly have learned regular chess. Oh, okay. Okay, that's pretty weird. Okay, guys, that's kind of weird. So now that knight has just gone there, which gives me a chance to capture that knight. Okay, that's fine. So now that knight has gone there. So now my plans are a little bit ruined there. So let's just see what happens. Let's advance this pawn. We're just going to see what happens. It looks like I may be losing this game. That's what it kind of looks like at the moment. But hey, I'm having fun, and that's what really counts. Okay, so that bishop goes there. Okay, so that bishop goes there. Now, where am I going to go with this? So let's advance that pawn, and we'll just see what happens. The game isn't over yet. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Well, that's a little weird. Might as well do that. Yeah, what's going on here now? Yeah, I'm just going to get my king up in this territory here, and we're just going to see how it goes. Okay, so now they did that. Wait, what? Aw, checkmate. They checkmated me and I didn't even see it. Dude, that was funny. Okay, that was pretty good. Okay, guys. Oh, they want to rematch me? They want to play a new game. Okay, so I lost the first game. Okay, first it was the Queen's Gambit. Now we've got a French defense situation going on here, man. Okay, so here's what we got. We're going to move this knight right here. We're going to move that knight there, and we're just going to see how it goes. So now they've done that. So we're going to, okay, we're going to chase that bishop away. Yeah, let's chase the bishop away like that. And that's kind of weird. So now we have this situation where we can put the knight here and attack that center pawn. So yeah, so far things are off to a good start. I'm playing the French defense, but the start of the French defense and the way how the game actually goes, you never quite know. So here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to do c5 there, and then they defend the pawn there, which is kind of typical for them to do that. Then we're going to get okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to advance this pawn here because that prevents a bishop from going to that spot. So that's something that's generally pretty good to do because it avoids the whole problem with the light squared bishop. So yeah, that's a pretty good deal. So this might be a good example of playing with the French defense. I really like the French defense. And so let's see here. So that pawn wants to take that pawn, but that's not a big deal. I'm just going to advance this pawn and scare the knight away. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to scare the knight away there. So then we're going to get this, we're going to get this queen right over here. We're going to get this over to b3. Okay, no, it's b6 because I'm on the other side of the board here. So yeah, this is good. Okay. All right. Okay, so that queen went there, and I don't know why the queen went there yet, but I'm going to get this knight moved right here. I'm just going to get that knight moved right there, and we're going to see how this goes. So now that knight went there. So let's see what we got going on here. I lost a pawn, but that's not the worst problem in the world. So this pawn is going to take that pawn. That's how it's going to be. That pawn is going to take that pawn. Oh, that knight put me in check. Okay, what is the meaning of this vulgar intrusion? So, yeah, so that knight, I don't know. Okay, I can go there, but I can't do anything about the knight. So my best place to move is probably right here. This is probably my best place to move it. I don't know what that knight is doing, honestly. I don't know what its plans are. This is very suspicious. You know what I mean? This is kind of suspicious. It's very mysterious what's going on here. Yeah, I don't like that knight being in my territory, but I also don't see it as an immediate threat. So now, okay, so now what do we have? This pawn can take that pawn, and the queen will probably try to, yeah. So the queen will probably, okay. Now no, the queen didn't take it. No, they didn't. Okay, so what's going on now? So now okay, we're going to try pinning the knight. Let's pin the knight here with the bishop. The knight will not want to move because then the queen dies. So what's going on here? Like what is really happening? What a very interesting game this is. Whew. Okay, so now that happened. So since that happened, let's instead just bring the bishop back here. Let's bring the bishop back here and target that square. We're just going to try this and see how it works out. Because I realized, oh, very interesting. Okay, well, okay, that's just a bit unusual there. So they sacrificed that knight, and now what they've done there is they've done that, but we can block that attack with this bishop. So it's not the worst problem in the world. I mean, it's fine, really. It's not that bad. Okay, now the queen's gone there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kill this bishop here because it guards this square. So we killed the bishop there. The pawn will take the knight. Will the pawn take the knight? I mean, that's what I think they'll do. But if they don't, I'm fine with that too. But more importantly, what is this queen doing over here? I predict this queen will try to go here and fork my king and my rook. That's what I'm predicting. I hope that they don't go there. I really hope they don't go there because that messes me up. And that would just be rude. But whatever. Let's see what White actually does here. Oh, wow. Okay, so they just castled. Okay, I wasn't quite expecting that exactly to happen, but regardless, wait a minute. Oh, dude. Okay. So I see. Okay, so you see how this happens is that this bishop now is pinned due to that movement. And so if I'm not careful, then I find myself checkmated soon. So I need to move this knight here to attack the queen and that bishop there, protect that bishop. So that's probably my best move. Like, guys, this is weird. What a weird game going on. Who's even winning? I don't know who's winning, right? Oh, okay. I'll take your rook. I'll take your rook. I'm fine with that. I really am. Um, hmm. Wow. Okay. They let me take that rook. Now they killed my knight. That part is true. They did kill the knight. And let's see. I'm going to put the king in check right here. Gonna put the king in check, and we're just gonna go from there. We're just gonna see what we can do. So the king went there, and my king is kind of in a little jam. Like there's so much that it can't really do right now. But let me do. Let's see here. Okay, that's actually a good spot for that knight. But it might actually be better if I could find a way to. Okay, I'm gonna get the knight moved over here. Okay, I'm gonna move the knight there. I have sort of an idea, but I don't really know if it's gonna work or not. We're just gonna see how this goes, guys. So okay, so that knight has just gone there. So now what's happening? Okay, so now the okay, we're gonna try something. We're going to try moving this queen right there. The queen can take my queen. Oh, instead they did that. Okay, guys, I'm a little surprised at that. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little scared right now. I don't know what they're doing here. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what plans they have. Oh, we have another one of those advertisements. 10 viewers for free for you, Chastity White Rose. Activate the code. Look, I don't need these spam bots trying to sell me views. Look, I'm not gonna pay for people viewing my Twitch stream, okay? People who like the game of chess are gonna like watching my chess videos. I'm not paying for no stupid services, okay? Just want you to understand that right from the start. So now we have this case. I'm going to have to put the king in check. And we're going to put the king in check right there. And where's the king going to go? Yeah, that's interesting. See, the king has to move. Okay, so now the king went there. Let's see, what do we have going on now? All right. So first things first, I want to put this rook there and attack the queen. My queen defends the rook. This rook protects this queen, but also defends that pawn. So let's see what happens. Let's just see, because now white's queen is in a little bit of danger. We'll see what white's queen does. We're just going to see what they do because they have to escape the danger, which that'll buy me an extra turn because they have to escape the danger, which gives me more time to think of what the hell I'm trying to do in this chess game. Because I'm trying to win this game, as I always do, but we'll just see how it goes. It's fun. I think I'm going to finish this game and then I'm going to go back to working on my schoolwork. I have a lot of schoolwork this week, but I just wanted to take this moment to play some chess for my mental health. Hmm. Oh, okay. So, oh, okay. So I could take their queen, but they could take my queen. Oh, dang it. All right. Well, let's do it. Let's trade the queens. Let's just do it and see how it goes. Um, let's see here. What can we do? Yeah, so I have the disadvantage here now. There's a lot that I can't really do here. Um, hmm. But the game's not over yet. Okay. Very strange. So now we're going to get this rook right there. And we're just going to see how this goes. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know if this is a good move, but we're just going with it. We're just going with it. That's the thing about chess is if you play and are afraid of losing, you're not going to make it very far because every move is risky. Every move in chess is risky because no matter what move you do, your opponent may make a move that completely ruins the purpose of your move. It's about planning ahead and making backup plans when your opponent ruins you. Okay, so that happened. Now I get to take this bishop. Okay, that's fine. I'm surprised they just let me take that bishop. That was a little odd. Okay, so they did that now. Now they did that, and what do we have going on here? So there's that. Okay. I think what I'm going to do here is well, first I'm going to capture this pawn. Let's just capture that pawn because it's not a bad idea to just capture that pawn. It's totally fine. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll take your knight if that's what you want. They just let me have their knight. Resigned. Okay, they made a really bad move there, and then I took their knight and they resigned. Okay, guys, so you know what, guys, this is a good stream. This was a good stream. It was just very good to this stream. It executed perfectly. I got to show some things on the analysis board, and I played 2 classic games of chess. I lost the first one, but the next one I won, and it's all fun. It's all great fun. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode, but keep in mind there will be more episodes in the future because this is something I do and I don't have very much time to do it, but I love the game of chess. So anytime I have a chance and nobody is there to interrupt me, I love to play chess while streaming and talking to my viewers. That's what Chastity's Chess Challenge is about. But it's more than that. It's far, far more than that. I do have a new chess website, all about chess. I don't have very much content on it right now, but I do have a new website I made. It's Chastity Chess Challenge at WordPress.com, and it's all about who I am and what I do. There's my logo. Here's my face. There's my contact info. Like, I'm not hard to contact because this is a legitimate business. I teach chess to people, and I specifically teach chess to people with disabilities. And it talks about I write related to chess. I like to analyze games. I have software for that. I I stream and record videos. I edit videos. I do a lot of stuff, and then I write posts about chess. So like the Magnus Carlsen jeans controversy. Like, come on, guys. I don't have much content on here, but already it's a good website. So just remember, go to let's see, I'm going to put it here. Okay, chastitychesschallenge.wordpress.com. So just go there. And I know it looks weird in the chat, but I don't know why the chat turns out like that. That's funny. I can't control this chat very well. Anyway, thank you for watching me explain some chess principles and play some chess. There will be future episodes as long as I am alive. I find time to do it, and nobody is there to stop me, and I have an internet connection. So there will be more of this, but I can't promise you when because I have a crazy life and I don't really have control of my life at the moment.